stream. No.
And what does it say now? We
I
are
have
on a
no idea.
community meeting maybe, or
Something like it, I think. Can I change it without stopping the live stream? And
yeah. I don't care, to be honest. I mean, it's good that we change it, but I think it'd be a conference organization. Okay, let's talk about conference organization then.
I'd rather not, I think. What happens if I just what happens if I just change it?
Just try.
Try, let's see. Maybe you get surprised. Most probably not. At least in Twitter, tweets are immutable, so the tweet is not gonna get notified. Or they say they're immutable.
All right, it changed. Perfect. Awesome.
Okay.
At least YouTube did. I'm not sure about the others.
No. Twitter is literally impossible.
No. Oh well.
Via API, it's impossible.
Okay, perfect. Welcome to another Spec 3.0 meeting. This time, or at least last time, we talked about kind of giving a status of where we are, what's happening, is anything blocked, moving forward, etc. But before doing that, is there anyone who wants to bring something up before jumping into that? Because it's probably gonna take the rest of the meeting, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. Okay. So let's so I started updating our little list about all of the things that are currently in progress and how far everything is. But with that, there's also a lot of questions and stuff we need to kind of discuss, because we are not very good at moving things to RFCs and through the RFC process, because sometimes we just have proposals in PRs without actually having the specific issue outlined as well. And we have a couple of instances where that's the case. But we can take them as we go, basically. We do have a lot of the issues that are being championed by Magic, but he's not on the call, so I guess I'm not sure how far we can take it, but let's see. So for this, introducing an InfoItem object, I'm pretty sure it's already in RFC 1, just without the title, or at least that's how I see it. There is already a PR up with the proposed change, and as far as I could read, there is somewhat of a consensus of that this is needed, and we also discussed it a couple of times, if I'm not mistaken, on these meetings. So Fran, now I'm basically talking to you. Do you mind updating the label? Because I can't do it. If you think it's ready.
Which one? Okay.
Introduce item. Okay.
Roman. I'm not following the process with version 3 because it's weird. It's weird because so for instance, it requires that you have implementations in a parser and JSON schema and so on. So, but what I'm finding right now is that some of these are not yet possible because, for instance, parser is being migrated. So I'm not going to work on 3.0 stuff on the current parser implementation because it's gonna get removed in a few, I don't know, whatever, few weeks, few months, whatever. So I'm not gonna lose the time implementing it on the current version. But I cannot, well, it's difficult, let's say, to implement it right now on the current API on the future parser because it's still under development. So yeah. So I wasn't following this this process of RFC, like Stroman and all this stuff. Just because of that, I'm just like pushing stuff together, and then over time we will be evaluating like what needs to be implemented in each place. I'm of course trying to implement things on each place whenever possible, but yeah. So I can update the one from the info, and if you want me to follow the RFC process from now on, I'm happy to do it. But I don't know. I had a feeling that it's a little bit of a,
I mean,
let's say weird because, yeah, for instance, I was moving components and channels, but these are not RFCs, right? These are just parts of an RFC, of the solve the publish subscribe confusion RFC, right?
mm-hmm.
So these are just pull requests, small pull requests to solve just a part of the RFC. So, and I don't want to create yet another long leaf branch for on top of the existing long leaf branch, which is next major version, and keep them in sync just for a specific RFC, right? So yeah.
It's not those specifically that I talk about. It's more
the info one.
We have. I mean, this one is for Magic's proposal about having this meta object, and we talked about this before. And it's more. We already have introduced a change to the spec through the PR, which is, as far as I remember, that's where it reaches IFC1 and starts to needing to move towards IFC2, right? And I think it's completely fine that we don't do parser at the moment, especially while it's migrating. But we can at least start finishing the changes to the spec itself and start finishing the changes to the spec documents, the JSON schema documents. Because then we can always in the end take it and start.
Well, my point was that I mean, this one about the info object, check, is this an issue or a pull request?
It's an issue, but it has pull requests.
Yeah. So this one, yeah. So RFC1, if I'm not mistaken, cannot be issues. They have to be pull requests, right? So you can put together an RFC 0 and a strawman proposal as an issue, but I think the proposal has to be already a pull request or the draft. I can't remember, but it's either one or the other.
Proposal should
be a pull request. You see, so we cannot. I mean, we cannot. Of course, we can make an exception here, but yeah, like, yeah, let's take it.
So it's the pull request itself that are RFC1.
Exactly, the pull request will be RFC1.
Huh. I always assumed that it was just the issue that kept updating as we went on, actually.
Yeah, proposals.
And it's basically stated.
Proposals and draft should be actual changes, not discussions or anything like that, right? But it's true, we might want to review this process because it's true that one single issue might be composed by many pull requests. So you might want to merge multiple pull requests, and once all of them are merged, then you can move it to the next stage, or even if they're not merged but they're ready to be accepted, ready to merge, So we can move this to the next stage. But yeah, something to. Yeah, we need to probably adapt this process because it's not really adapting well to the development of version 3. It is not so much about version 3, it's more than version 3 is a huge job, it's a huge change. And usually you don't want to create a huge pull request with lots of changes. You want to do multiple small pull requests, right?
Yes.
So yeah, having RFC1 for a small pull request and then RFC1 again for another pull request and then for another pull request. I think it breaks the purpose. So yeah, so probably we should be assigning this to an issue instead. Yeah, just saying that this is what the spec says.
Yeah, that's true. I actually didn't kind of glanced over this very specific thing.
Yeah, that
because
was done. I think that is how GraphQL does it as well, but it was almost, if not copy paste, it was almost copy paste from GraphQL.
But what happens to the issue itself then? When you then have, for example, pull request that we need to go into it.
You link it on the pull request, you say that it resolves or closes the issue. So once it's merged, the issue is closed.
Right? But okay, so we have, for example, in this case, we would have this would always say RFC 0. And then if they had multiple pull requests, this one would be labeled RFC 1. And same for others.
That's my point. So we need to, yeah, our maybe in the case of GraphQL, it's all in the same repo, but we have multiple repos, so it cannot be a single pull request. So at least it's 2 or 3 pull requests, right? So at the very least. So we probably have to change that. Anyway, this is just I mean, the process is here to help us, not to stop us. So that's why I was like forgetting about RFCs and so on.
But I mean, this also means that this is basically like we can't really use any of this because it's not how it really moves or reaches the different stages.
Yeah.
Okay. Noted.
But yeah, let's make sure that we have this discussion. I'm gonna change the label on the InfoItem object, introduce InfoItem object, because it has.
We can also just try and use it and see what happens, and then label this one as RFC1, and then once the changes are finished, and we then introduce this, we then label them RFC2, and then just follow it and see what happens instead of winging it.
Thing is that, for instance, for reaching RFC3, they need to be merged, right?
Yep.
All of them. Right.
But that means that the pull requests themselves are changing stages, right?
Yeah. So what I mean is that this one that you have the cursor over finished changes to spec. This item will have to be moved to RFC3, right? You know what I mean? Because it's like we can consider something as accepted when it's already, let's say, merged or ready to be merged, right?
Right. Yeah, that has to change. Okay. Yeah, gotcha.
But not just the spec, but all of them: the spec JSON schema, and the parser. The 3 of them. Okay. Right. Yep. They should be finished. It doesn't mean that they have to be merged, right? But they should be finished and they should be like ready to merge. Okay. So yeah. Anyway, we need to look at this process because it's I think it's a pain going through all the pull requests and assigning the label. I think it's best if, well, not always it's best, but it's better if we can use issues as a way to group together multiple pull requests.
Yeah. I
'Cause-
also wanted to. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Before
Because
I
my
change
point, for
subject.
instance, you only have one pull request for the spec, one pull request for the JSON schema, and one pull request for the parser. But I have multiple pull requests for the spec.
Yeah.
Just for the spec, right? So, and none of them is close in the RFC. It's finished in the RFC, right? But I need them to be to start. I need to start merging them. That's the thing.
Yeah.
So I am unlock. So I unblock other people. For instance, for the request reply features,
Yeah.
they needed to have the channels, the new channels object, right, ready. So that's why I focused in having the channels object ready. So
Yep.
I unblock them to have request reply. But it's not the only change. It's multiple changes. We can always, of course, say that we have multiple RFCs, but in the end, it's just one RFC, which is like solve, publish, subscribe, confusion.
Yeah. Makes sense. Since Magic's not here, I did want to ask him of the status of this change, what is blocked at the moment, because I don't have any idea, but I'm gonna get back to him in the issue itself then and ask there. Just quickly, we talked about this this problem about, at least I think, or I think Fran thinks as well, without putting words in your mouth, that we kind of need a new referencing standard in order to reference protobuf XML and like non-JSON standards, basically. And then we have a lot of discussion going on in the pull request itself, but we actually don't have any. I can't remember if we have an issue for it specifically. So a lot of the discussion is happening in the pull request itself. So yeah, I think I still either need to find an issue or create one. And I'm not sure where to take the discussion, whether to pull everything into the issue or whether to keep it in the pull request and just keep iterating.
That's exactly my point. Like, so for instance, to allow referencing non-JSON structures, you don't only need to introduce a new schema referencing standard. You need to do more stuff, right? Just on the spec, without even looking at other stuff, just on the spec. So you probably will have multiple pull requests on the spec only, right? I mean, strictly speaking, you can create another branch that will be the branch of this specific RFC that will be in sync with next major spec that will be in sync with master. But I mean, you know, you've seen what happens with long-lived branches. You know, there's sync issues and, you know, conflicts and so on. So I don't really recommend having long-lived branches because they're a pain to maintain. We need it for the next major version, that's okay. But I will not continue creating deeper long-lived branches.
No, I agree.
So that's why I was saying that we probably have to change the way we handle this.
Yeah.
In any case, the release branch is unstable by definition in the meantime, right? So we can merge incomplete things. It's okay. As long as once we finish the RFC, it's complete, it's finished, it's done, right? But in the meantime, it can contain incomplete changes, right? So we don't keep creating more stuff, or we don't create a huge pull request with all the changes, right? So yeah, up to you. You can create a long-lived branch if you want, but yeah, I will not recommend, to be honest.
I'd rather not.
Yeah.
And
so yeah, I will say create an issue so you can in the issue you can say you can list, I have to merge this pull request, this other pull request, and then do this and do this and do this and do that.
Yeah.
Like all the information that you have there, but in this issue.
Yeah, makes sense. Then we have some stuff from metrics as well about improving components or what can be defined within them. It's also missing an issue. I'm pretty sure it's from another issue where it was talked about and then kind of agreed upon, and then pull requests were created. So yeah, same issue here. Still need to get an overview from Magic, what is missing from here, whether something is blocked. We have the same issue with something about cleaning up the root object, where he's proposing to move tags and external docs into the info object. Still missing an issue there. Still need to ask the status of this and what's missing in order to move it.
These ones that are just a single pull request per repo, I think that these are fine. If they don't have an issue, I think that's okay, right? You can use the one on the spec as the issue if you want to hold the discussion. But if you need to have multiple pull requests per repo, then I will create an issue.
Ah, okay, right. Gotcha. Proposals to allow defining schema formats other than the default one. So this one is a bit tricky, and it's a shame Magic isn't here, but I would propose that we scale this one down to not include examples such as how you can define protobuf and etc., because you're trying to grasp two issues. One, you want to move schema format into the schema. What's it called? Schema
object.
Yeah. So when you define a schema like this, the schema, you define the format as well alongside it instead of having it on the message. That's the one change. The second change is that he's proposing a lot of basically supporting non-JSON structures, which I think is too much for this specific change. Which is why I basically think it's what's related to this one and needs to be moved towards that. So this change is focusing solely on moving schema format from message to schema. That's my suggestion, at least, in order to keep it as simple as possible.
Yeah, because it can be referenced. It should be possible to inline it, usually.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
I agree. It should keep it simple. And I don't recall, maybe you do. I think we once discussed that this is probably a very complex issue for version 3. That we don't want to solve it on version 3, or maybe anyway, we need to discuss this somewhere, probably on the pull requests or issues. It has an issue, perfect. So yeah, because I'm not sure. Yeah, it will create another breaking change if we add it in the future. So yeah,
actually. So if we just talk about whether we can reference and inline non-JSON structures, for example, if that's the change you talk about, then it doesn't necessarily have to be a breaking change. I'm pretty sure we agree that it would just be a feature change because we are basically just allowing extra stuff to be defined.
Yeah. Yeah.
So whether it should be included in 3.0, that's another discussion.
Yeah, but
I think it all depends.
I mean the other one. I mean this one plus schema format, move schema format to schema object. This is gonna be a breaking change. Yeah.
Yes, that is. Yeah.
So yeah, we don't want to create yet another breaking change right after we ship version 3. I mean,
Definitely.
it's okay if we do it, but we do it because we didn't expect it. But if we're already expecting it, So we shouldn't leave it out. But yeah, I fear that this is gonna take long. This one is gonna take long. Yeah.
Oh, I don't fear it. I know it's gonna take.
Yeah.
But yeah, the change about having schema format alongside the schema object itself is rather simple but breaking.
Yeah.
So yeah. But yeah, I'll reach out in the issue itself. Yeah, I'll contact Magic to see what exactly we are going to do there. Okay. Publish confusion. Yay. So this one about making the field optional, let's take that first, because I'm pretty sure this is solved.
This is done. Yeah, you can close it, I think.
Yeah, I can't do anything. That's all you.
You can't?
Oh,
Fuck.
all you. That's a good thing about organizing this. I don't have any power on the spec repo, so all I say is you do the work and I'll just say what you need to do.
Your problem there. So
Yep.
This one is about optional. Okay, make it optional.
It's closed now. I close it.
Perfect.
Why you can? Because you
Because
created-
I created it.
yeah, true.
But should we close before? I mean, I am a bit confused. So should we close it before implementing it, or not implementing it, but before releasing?
Yes,
I prefer to do it because it's easier to
Yes.
maintain what is done.
yes. Let's follow the same process that we do with normal releases. If it's implemented, if it's done, if it's merged to the release branch, which is the case, then we close it. In this case, it's missing the JSON schema implementation. I already have it. I already have the pull request, but it's not yet merged. So let me share the pull request.
By the way, when you, for example, the problem is that we're using the next branches, and when you use the next branches, they don't automatically close the issues before it's merged into master. So that's that. I think that's what Sergio was talking about. So it's a little bit of a different behavior.
Yeah.
Like merge to the release branch, I think it should be considered like done already.
Okay.
And what is not done is the release, right? But the work of making it optional, it's done. And then
This is something we have been discussing some time, and it's confusing because when we do release, we don't close the issues until we merge the release PR. So the one that holds, I think it's the one that holds the spec changes, right?
No, we do. Like some of the changes, for instance, in 2.5 right now, some of the changes don't have an issue. They only have a pull request. If you merge the pull request, it's already closed. So we are actually closing. And if in the pull request it says resolves or closes the whatever issue, it's going to close it before we release. I'm pretty sure it's like that. I cannot guarantee that this is happening always, but I'm pretty sure that most of the times it's like this. And there are cases where there are no issues. There's just it's just a pull request, and the discussion happens over a pull request. Once you merge it, it's closed.
Yeah, you're right about the pull request, but not the issues.
If you link it with the resolves,
Yeah,
it's
not if it's merged within a next branch.
Ah, damn it.
Yeah, that's
So you have to do it manually.
I thought it
That's
was.
the point. No, only in the main branch.
Okay.
I do it manually because otherwise I can't keep track of what I changed and what not. So I usually do it manually with other
Alright.
repos.
Hmm.
I
I thought it was getting close automatically when you merge the pull request, but it's only with the main branch. Okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
I mean, it automatically closes all the issues that your next branch has fixed or solved as soon as you merge it into the master branch
Yeah,
or
yeah.
main branch. There it does it automatically. Yeah. Okay, so moving on, because we have a lot of other things.
Yeah.
Let
So
channels
this-
be identified. Sorry, go.
This is done on the spec. At the spec level, this is complete now. It's merged, actually.
This one?
Yes.
Okay.
So what else? But yeah, it's not closed, obviously. Yes, what else? So RFC2, it means finished changes to the spec. Address is moved to a new field. That's done. So it's RFC2. RFC2 is complete as well.
For the channel field optional or?
No, the other one. Let channels be identified by an ID.
Ah,
This is also done. This is merged already.
is this merged?
Yeah. This. Well, it.
Pretty sure it's not.
But but because this is not the pull request. This is not the pull request, so these ones will be closed, and which will be referencing the one that I created. Sorry.
Am I missing an issue or pull request?
Yes. Let me find it for you.
We have Lucas talking in Slack, saying you should not close issue if not merged to master, as having stuff in RC doesn't mean it will be released.
Yeah. Yes.
So then
That's
I
true.
should reopen the other one.
The phantom of Lucas. Lucas, you're in the call. Stop talking on Slack.
But
Kidnapping.
no, we don't
Kidnapping our
monitor the
meeting.
chat.
I mean, let's merge.
I should actually do that.
Stop.
Okay, I reopen it. The one that I closed.
So I'm not sure if I'm late to the party, but it's this one. So this one is. It's adding this, like let channels be identified by an ID rather than their address. So address is now moved into a new field, so this is complete. This is already merged. I think you can just change this item. No, don't tick it because it's not this pull request. This pull request will be closed.
Oh, it's another one.
It's another one, yeah.
Ah, it's this one. Okay.
Yeah. So this one is actually implementing all these things.
Right. I actually think we have. Yeah, we have a nope. Okay. I'm gonna change it later.
Yeah. So what else? What else do we have?
Moving on. Then we have remote servers and local servers.
As far as I know, there's nothing there.
Yeah. Is there anything missing or blocking, or is it just doing it?
I think it's just missing champion. That's it.
Okay.
I can do it, but can't promise I'll have time during this cycle. But yeah, if not, I can take it for the next cycle, and that's it.
I would love to do it, but being realistic, I think I can't.
No,
No worries.
you have a better job with a parser and the new things to come.
Yes, that's the point.
Okay,
Anyways.
so request reply. I tried to figure out what exactly is blocking any progress, but the only thing I could figure out was this channel object and
Yes.
channels be identified by ID rather than address. And I'm not sure about other things.
This is already done as well.
This one?
It's
Okay.
solved. It's solved by the pull request above this item, the add new channels object.
Okay. Okay, so right. Got yeah. Anything else that's blocking it? Or should he be able to do it now?
You should ping what was his name? Green Rover, but I can't remember his name. Damn it. I hate it, but I don't remember.
Heiko.
Heiko, yeah. So yeah. So you probably have to ping Heiko because I can do it because I promised to ping him once I finish it and I didn't do it. So I'm gonna just ping him.
Okay, perfect. Unifying all reference mechanisms, and does it have a champion, or do we need to do something there?
I do. It's on my list for this cycle.
Okay. Anything that's blocking it?
Time.
Of course, but
nothing
it's a perfect
no,
reason.
it's I'm probably gonna get my hands dirty in it next week. So yeah.
Then we have this. It's kind of something that has been on the back burner for some time now, where it's kind of two things. We did something in 2.3 which deprecated some fields, and now in 3.0 we have to remove some stuff. As I understand, we already have the changes, and I'm pretty sure they already have been merged as well. As far as I can see, at least. So I haven't been able to figure out whether it has implementations as well, or whether it need to have implementation, because I think it's just a clarification thing. If I'm not mistaken.
You mean on the JSON schemas as well?
Yes.
No,
yes.
it's an implementation change as well. But I think that will be also covered by my change because I removed the $ref on purpose. So,
okay.
So yeah, on my pull request with the new channels object, it doesn't give you the possibility to, and you can use $ref, but $ref is not part of the list of properties that you can use.
Yes. Okay, perfect.
So yeah.
Okay, so this
will be complete as well. As soon as I finish the pull request that I sent you before about the JSON schemas, this should be done. This will be, because parser, we cannot work on the parser yet. I mean, we can, but to be honest, it's still very unstable. So,
but is there any? I'm pretty sure we don't have any specific property for a reference within these objects in the parser implementation. I'm pretty sure it's just a
yeah. I don't think parser needs any change. Yeah, true.
Okay, so yeah, so this one is ready whenever that PR is done. I'm gonna change these as well. So I added this back burner stuff, which is basically all the issues that where there isn't any specific progress, but we need to keep in track in terms of, is there anything we need to bring forward again. but yeah, it's basically just all the issues that has no progress. Then I started adding this completed, basically moving all the things that we have up in progress whenever things are completely done, in order to basically show what we are working on, and have that concised into just one specific section. Sergio, anything you want to add from the parser side?
Yeah. So basically, we are very close. It's I don't want to say it's a similar message than the latest meeting, but that's true. I mean, we are discussing a few things on the last methods that we consider we needed in the API, in the parser API. It's about the schema servers, operations, and messages, collections, and it's about what is in use for your by your application, what is not in use by your application. So we want to let users to filter those collections by whatever is being used in your application or not, right? So this has a strong use cases behind. So that's almost kind of, I don't want to say decided because it never is decided, but we are trying to figure out what is the best implementation for the current current spec for V2 of those. Sorry, the implementation in the parsers, yes, I mean, of those methods. Besides that, this is what I said, it's blocking another pull request that it's one pull request with a couple of fixes on some methods. And that's all. The only missing would be revisiting the README a bit and the migration guide. So it's all about documentation and that's all. Theoretically, everything should be with that. Of course, after that, so we will release this and we will start working on the generator, the templates, blah, 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 blah. But in terms of parser, I would say that it's going to be like, I expect for the next meeting, we could do some kind of like an announcement, no? And the speech would be something like, hey, we released, please try it out. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, we're very close, it seems. So one thing that I will suggest is once you think it's stable, it's only lacking the README, for instance, I will suggest that you tell us like, hey, it's only missing some README changes and so on, so you can already work on top of this. It's somehow stable. And also, I guess this is only working with version 2, as you said, right? It's not
That's
working
right.
with 3 or a potential version 3, right? So
yeah, it's only implementation for V2.
Yeah, so there is another branch which is next major spec, right? Which is, so if I want to introduce something as part of my RFCs on version 3, what do you think should I do? Should I merge?
That's a good question.
Should I merge next major inside next major spec branch? So I get the latest.
Yeah, in that case, yes, and I think it's easy to understand. No, we are doing 2 versions, right, of the parser. One is a major version and another related to a major spec version.
Exactly.
In our case, what is going to happen earlier? So what is happening is that we are going to release a major version of the parser, which is the V2. So I agree. I think you should somehow sync the other branch, the major release, keep it in sync with the next major.
Yeah, because I don't want to work on version 3 stuff on the old.
Oh, sure. No, you shouldn't.
Right. So that's why. So yeah, okay. So I think I need to have a look at that, because that's part of the RFCs that I'm working on, the channels and the operations and like moving operations to the root. So I probably have to add something to the API, to the new intent driven API, or
it's more easy than what you think, because there is already a directory where you will have to implement an interface. That the interface is already created, so you will just have to implement these interfaces, and that's all.
Perfect. So then it's just that, like, if I have to add new interfaces, I will have to do it on the parser API repo as well, right? And on the parser JS repo, right?
That's right. Yeah, in case you need that. Hopefully,
in case
hopefully you don't.
Yeah. But
the good point.
Sorry.
Sorry. What I was about to say. The good point of you working on this is that you're gonna be our early adopter. You know, it's like you're gonna put this like under stress, and validate if the API works. In fact, I did that, and it works pretty well.
I don't think so. I think we're gonna put it under stress to some degree, because we're gonna test how well it will map to another version of the spec, but a completely different version of the spec. But what I think it should be stressed with is with tooling, like the templates, or with I don't know, with Glee or templates or whatever, or Studio, right? So with generator templates. So there is where we will see if it really has all the things that we need to have.
Yeah.
Right.
The point on that is that the good point is that we tried, Jonas and I, when we started designing this new API, that it was based on those templates.
Yeah, I know.
So hopefully we won't have that. But yeah, I agree that the templates are the real users, let's say, of this API.
Yeah, because for me it will be rather easy. I will just have to, inside the implementation of the parser, like just implement where to find the information on version 3. The thing is that, is this information enough for the templates and for other tools to build useful stuff? That's where we'll see if it's really enough or not. But yeah, anyway.
But Sergio, is the parser is it functional at the moment? Like, could you release it right now?
Yeah, and I think it's been happening, right? I think there is some
but it hasn't been released yet, has it? On the next branch?
No, it's not, but you can use it. It's an RC, I think. Let me see. But it's fully functional. So you could start working right now. There is only one missing thing that you can reach. It's about how to get all the schemas. But besides that, I don't think you will find anything missing from there.
Okay.
So you could start working on that. And after we apply this new pull request, so you will update your code or rebase your branch, and that's all. So you shouldn't be missing anything, I guess.
I can't seem to find the release though. I'm pretty sure you haven't released it yet. Like we can't install the library, right?
No.
As far as I know, that's what I mean. Because if it's ready, but just missing some tests or some extra functionality, like just release it.
For a moment, I thought we were doing some kind of RC releases, because we do have a branch.
Yeah, but the problem is
master. Yeah.
The problem.
Yeah, that's the point.
It's all refactored, so it hasn't triggered a release yet. That's my,
Yep.
because as soon as you do that, we can start integrating it in all the other tools. Basically.
Yeah, I can
Right.
create a commit, an empty commit saying pre-release or whatever.
If it's ready, or not if it's ready, if it's functional to the degree that you can start using it, then I think you should do it. Yeah.
I mean, there is one bug that we know, as says, and there is one missing feature. So at the end, we could release it, but I would say I would at least wait for that to be merged. Maybe. Why? Because I want someone to start like reporting this bug when we already discovered that. I don't know. I'm open to suggesting.
I would just release it. Because even though that you have a bug, then you fix it down the line in a week or something, and people can still start using it and just be aware of the bug. Unless it's breaking the library itself.
I mean, the only reason I will not release it right now, if the missing feature is an existing feature in the previous version, then I will not release it yet. Like we should release once there is feature parity, in my opinion, right? It is at least, it contains at least the same amount of features as previous version. And from there, we can keep adding whatever features we want on 2.1, 2.3, 2.6, right? Whatever. And also fixing bugs. But if the feature wasn't present on the previous version, we don't have to wait. But since I don't know,
it is missing. It's missing. I put the pull request in Zoom. I'm gonna paste it in YouTube as well. The schemas method, it was missing because we let it for almost the end because we needed to solve other things previously. And
yeah, this one is important, I would say.
Yeah. But this one is blocked by the other one, kind of like blocked. Not 100%, but kind of, because we want to redo the job twice. And because it was a discussion, an ongoing discussion, how to solve it, we put on hold this one.
I see. This is the one containing in use and not in use and so on.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, then anyway, it's I don't think we're far from releasing already. So let's fast track this. If you need approvals on this pull request and you're waiting just for approvals or something, let's just let us know and let's fast track this, because in the end it's just like Jenna said, if we make a mistake or introduce a bug or something like that, we fix it later, and that's okay. We will anyway introduce bugs. So yeah, so who cares if it's known or unknown?
Yeah, I shared the pull request that is blocking the other one. So
all right,
feel free to join and suggest how to implement that.
All right, I will. I have it open here.
All right.
So this one, I think this one is important. If we unlock working on the parser, then I can start contributing already the first things about version 3. I hope you thought about how to manage different versions of the spec inside the code base.
Yeah. I mean, you will for sure find some things that it should be changed, but
that's okay. Yeah. I was hoping like I don't have to define this, because yeah, it's gonna be a pain. Like how to flag, not flag, but how to direct. Like it will use this implementation or this other implementation, right? So yeah. Anyway,
So
I don't want to place a bunch of ifs. If version 2 do this, if not, do this other thing, right? I prefer not to.
Yeah, don't worry. It's a completely different model. So
Okay,
it's just a strategy pattern. If it's V2, use a model, or rather another model.
Perfect. That's it.
Sergio, is there anything you want to change here in order to show better the progress and what's missing, or is it fine just to leave it as is, and if it's released next week, it's not really matter?
Yeah, there is a pull request on parser API, right? That it's about that needs to be reviewed with all the changes that we have been adding later. This should be reviewed and merged, and theoretically, this should be reviewed and merged before parser.js implementation happens, right? I agree that we are mixing here because an exception. This is the first time we do this. This is the first time we are implementers of parser API.
Yeah, I mean, not necessarily needs to follow this direction. It's okay if we merge the JS one first and then the API, because we're still like trying to discover what the API will be. So
yeah,
okay.
I think it depends on how sure we are that the specific change is needed or not, or whether it's just a trial.
Well,
error
I mean,
for now.
I would say we should not release a major version of parser without this being merged, right? But we can release the release candidate.
Yes.
So yeah, I will add this to the list and encourage people to review it whenever
Do you
they
mind
have
writing
time.
it in a comment exactly how you
Yes.
want the change here? Because then I can
Sure.
just upgrade it. But yeah, that was basically it for today. We are out of time. Unless someone has some final things they want to add.
I'm excited. That's the only thing that I want to share. I'm freaking excited that I see this moving forward, and it's I'm already able to play a little bit with version 3. That's gonna be cool.
Definitely.
At some point, I'm gonna start integrating a future version or release candidate, if you want, of Studio with the new parser, with support with the news for the new spec, and so I can start playing on Studio, right? And also some other tools like the documentation generation or the React component, so that I can play with it there and see how it goes. So yeah, exciting.
All right, folks. Thanks for joining. See you next time.
Thanks. Bye.
Yeah.